What is going on, guys, and welcome to the 5-1 Formation podcast. Joining me are George Georgiousis and Tommy Siebos.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here.
So basically, I'm going to be the host for this segment. We're going to be covering the Premier League segment this time, okay? And basically, we're going to be just saying the latest headlines to come into the Premier League this week. And we're going to start off like that. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
let's do it.
man.
So the first one is England's Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden from the England squad after the dropped from the England squad after breaking COVID-19 protocols. So the pair breached quarantine rules by inviting women to their hotel in Iceland. Both players were omitted from the squad for Tuesday's Nation League's match and will now fly back to England.
Yeah.
So George, we're going to start with you. What do you think about that?
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
I mean,
It's as simple
That's what it
as
is.
that.
It's just two young kids I wanted to smash.
You're not wrong, man.
Sometimes you're young, you forget that you're supposed to be a professional when it comes to these things. And obviously, quarantine has made it difficult for not only them, but for everybody. COVID, I mean. But they just got caught because I'm sure there's other players that are doing it also.
Yeah.
And there have been other players that do it.
That's it. It's just young kids. Their stardom is increasing by the day. Like you see them, they're not used to this platform yet. From going from their club teams to going now international, wearing the badge, it's a lot for them.
Yeah, especially those two guys too. They represent their clubs, and they're like the future of their clubs and the international team too. Mind you, the international team is like fully stacked. I mean, if one guy slips, there's another guy coming up. So,
and I think that's why I was so surprised, especially by Foden, because I think it was a couple of days before when he was finally announced to be in the England squad. He was so happy. It was like a dream come true. He wrote a big post about it of how him and his family were so happy about it, and that he was just filled with so much pride. And then you see this kind of happen, and you're just like, man, like.
It's a lot to take in, the fame.
I agree. I agree.
They're gonna learn from this. That's it.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn. It's gonna hurt them. It's gonna hurt them now being dropped by the national team. They're gonna learn the hard way. And now that's what they're doing.
It's something that every pro athlete faces with being scandalous and doing these kind of things outside of work. Because almost every player growing up, they've had some sort of charge or some sort of negative thing towards them.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that, look, they were just young. They were stupid.
So they just wanted to smash.
Hopefully they learn from it.
Yeah.
And we get to see them in their top form this year.
For sure.
So we'll move on. So Newcastle United reunite Ryan Fraser and Calum Wilson. So they were these two guys were both from Bournemouth. Ryan Fraser they got on a free transfer, and Calum Wilson they got for about 20 million reported.
Is it Callum?
Callum Wilson.
Sorry, because I couldn't.
Callum.
Yeah, I wasn't following for a second, but now it came back to me.
So what do you think about that?
It's good for Newcastle. These are two players that have Premier League experience, an abundance of it.
Yep.
Bournemouth did get relegated last year, so that's why these transfers are being made by Bournemouth players. Like I said, Ryan Fraser is young too. Callum, I'm sure he's also young. Also, he's not very old. Great on Newcastle. Good depth moves, and maybe Newcastle can do something considering that the Saudi takeover didn't happen. So maybe they're pulling players now, and maybe they can do something.
That's it. If I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm very excited seeing this news. Callum Wilson's gonna bring it. He's gonna bag many goals for them. My prediction for him, he's gonna get 15, around there, 15. And
if he starts,
he's gonna start. I find him.
Oh yeah, it's
gonna be a nice battle between him and Joelinton.
And maybe it's a push for Joelinton too, to kind of like step it up, because I believe it was their most expensive transfer. They paid 40 million for him, and he ended up scoring 2 goals in the Premier League, which is a little disappointing for your first season in Premier League. A lot of pressure, though. So
a lot of pressure, but at least he's going to get solid competition right now with Callum. And Ryan Fraser, who they got on a free, is an incredible winger / kind of midfielder, I would say.
Yeah, left midfielder, left winger.
Yeah.
Very pacey, very typical PL winger.
And he's great on the ball. Set pieces too. He could do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're in Tottenham. We're looking at him.
We're looking at both of them.
Both of them.
But I'm guessing Fraser and Callum Wilson knew that they weren't going to have a solid starting role.
Yeah.
So they wanted to go in Newcastle. You know that they're going to start. I know Joelinton's there, but
Yeah.
it's more confident that he's going to start over Joelinton than starting over Harry Kane.
Yeah. A lot easier to break into the first team.
So it's more of guaranteed playing time and to just show what they're made out of.
Perfect.
I'm happy for them.
Perfect. So we'll move on to that. We're going to go to Manchester City's Riyad Mahrez and Aymeric Laporte both test positive for COVID-19. And my question to you guys is, what do you guys think? Or we're going to start with George. What do you guys think that is going to happen usually at the beginning of the season, especially if they do miss that first game against Wolves on the 21st of September? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It is a tough game for City, considering that Wolves have pretty much the same team, and they've added more players too, and they've made some good signings. Obviously, they prefer to sign Portuguese players, and it's Nuno Espirito. He really prefers Portuguese players, but he's got something going on for them. For City, it's going to be challenging, but I think they'll get away with it, considering that City aren't done either in the transfer market.
Very true.
I find that it doesn't hurt Man City because I know how much depth you guys have, but I'm worried about Laporte missing the first game because Wolves are high pressing. They're gonna come all out attack. But for Riyad Mahrez, there's a lot of more options. You have Bernardo,
front, yeah.
You have Raheem Sterling. It doesn't really affect them. I know Mahrez would be a perfect thing to come off the bench, but for that game they could do it. But the Laporte one now worries me. But adding Ake, hopefully he gets the first start that game.
And rumored Koulibaly too. You guys have strong links to him. And I think that'd be a great addition. Yeah. But also, I believe that Pep Guardiola has Wolves' number on because I believe they beat them twice last year in the Premier League.
It's possible that Wolves got away with one of them.
At least one of them.
Yeah. But I like that Tommy brought up Ake because he's a great signing for us and for City. And now with Laporte actually, if he actually does miss this game, I really think that he's going to give Ake the start.
Oh, 100%.
And also, if Mahrez misses the game, this gives a chance for either Ferran Torres, our new signing, who's a winger, to get that start, or at least to come in and give that second half push.
But quick question. Would you have Ferran Torres on the left and Sterling on the right?
Yes.
And do you know if Ferran Torres, I'm not really familiar with him, but does he play both wings or is he more...
To my knowledge, he plays both.
Okay, good.
So if that actually works, first of all, I think when it comes to Pep Guardiola, he's going to put you wherever he wants.
Yeah.
And he's going to make a player out of you.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Fair enough. But they got rid of Sane, who did play on the left. Yeah. And I think Ferran was the direct replacement for him. Young, speedy.
Solid signing.
Because you don't want to fuck around too much with their formation and where they play, because it can lead to confusion to the player. As in, they might not be comfortable playing everywhere. Yeah. Whereas if you start them off with one position and they familiarize with it, you can get the best out of them.
Very true. Yeah. Well said. So speaking of Wolves, actually, they smashed their club record fee with the signing of Fabio Silva, who's 18, from Porto. And Silva scored 20 goals in 26 matches in Porto's under-19 side. So I think this is a great signing for them. It's a direct super sub option for Jimenez.
Yep.
Because I actually thought that Jimenez was going to end up leaving, but it looks like he's going to stay finally.
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but for at least another season, it seems like he will stay. And I was just kind of thinking, what do you think about that?
I mean, I haven't really seen him play, but judging by those numbers, those are good numbers. Pulling when you're 18, you said? 18?
He's 18 years old.
18 years old. That's perfect. Yeah. We just have to see.
And I find that it's going to be an easy fit for him because, like George said before, it's dominant Portuguese team. So I find he's going to go and he's going to gel well with the team. He's going to learn well from everyone. I find it's a good move, and couldn't pick a better coach to bring him up.
Agreed. I think it is the perfect club for him, considering he's Portuguese and he's going to settle in nicely with his Portuguese colleagues, I would say.
It's all comfort. It's comfort. Yeah. He's going to feel at home.
So that's great. It's a good signing for them. And like I said before, if Jimenez ever decides to leave in a year or two, this could be the guy to replace him if he really steps up when needed.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Until they pick up another Portuguese youngster.
Exactly. So Chelsea's summer rebuild continues with $70 million deal for Kai Havertz. So it's finally been put down pen to paper. How do you feel, George?
I feel fantastic. I feel like a weight has been taken off my shoulders because it was long and highly anticipated. They finally did it, and I'm super excited for this season coming up. He's very young. Chelsea have a very young squad, and I just hope for the best for him, and I really hope that Lampard can get the best out of him also.
Tom, what do you think of the deal?
I find it's a beyond solid move. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm super happy. Expect a lot of goals. And yeah, I find he's a great star. He's going to be good under Lampard. Lampard's going to show him the ways. He already has a familiar person who played in the same league with him, Timo Werner. So I find it's a great move.
Yeah,
I like it.
Definitely a great move.
I like it a lot.
Seeing their team now, especially with all the additions, the depth that they have is just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Or at least in the attacking side of it.
Yeah.
In terms of like the attacking in the midfield, they have options now. Defense, I mean, there's an argument there, but for everything else, they really have the depth to really go far in the Premier League. And I would even go as far as saying they really have a strong chance of winning the title this year.
It's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement, but it's.
I agree with you.
It's not out there. You know what I mean?
At all.
The tricky thing with Chelsea right now is now that Frank Lampard has been backed with the signings, and they've been the most busiest club in the market this year. He's gonna have a difficult time managing playing time, picking the best formation, and getting the best out of every player.
Yeah.
So, like you said, going up front, we seem pretty lethal. The back, we have made some signings. Thiago Silva on a free transfer, although he's a lot older, 35 years old.
Ben Chilwell.
There's Ben Chilwell also, but Thiago's a leader in the back, and he can maybe really fix up the back four. Ben Chilwell, very young also, loads of experience in the Premier League. A bit pricey for my liking. But hey, they're backing Lampard, and they seem to have a vision and a project, and it's all on the right foot.
But you as a Chelsea fan, do you think if the transfer window ends and you're solid with Kepa as your starter, are you confident that he's going to bring you a league title? Do you think he's going to bring you all the way, be solid every single game?
Listen, I've said this before. It's a coin toss. It's a coin toss, but he is young also. They did pay a lot of money for him, so they have to make it worthwhile.
Would you be happy if they went out and actually got another goalkeeper? I know there's rumored.
So there's rumored that Edouard Mendy.
Yep.
I almost forgot his name. He's 28 years old, and he's from Lille. Rennes, sorry.
He's
Stade
from
Rennais.
Stade Rennes.
Stade Rennes, yeah. They're looking to get him for around 20 million, which I think is a pretty good price for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And it might give Kepa a kick in the ass.
That's exactly what I was going to say, which is that if they do go out and get this guy, it's kind of sending a message to Kepa, like, look, man, like your starting position is up for grabs right now.
Smarten up.
I still think Kepa is a very good goalkeeper. When he did first come to Chelsea under Maurizio Sarri that first season, he actually had a pretty good season. So I know that the ability is there. It's just a matter of bringing it out.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Just has to find his form again.
Yeah.
If he does, you guys are good.
That's it. So Everton begin midfield transformation. So they went and got Allen from Napoli.
Love it.
And they got James Rodriguez, which was made official today from Real Madrid.
For 20 mil?
For about 20 mil. That was for Allen, I believe, 25 around. And for James,
it was 20 mil.
20
also.
Okay, perfect. So basically, Ancelotti is really looking to just transform that and to get rid of all of the guys that he can't really work with in the midfield that don't really like. He needed a ball-winning midfield, and he got a midfielder, and he got that in Allen.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the move for those two?
So Carlo Ancelotti has a lot of experience in European football. He's been in the top clubs in Europe. Everton being not the biggest club, but a pretty big club in England. Historically, they have a lot of history, whatnot, yada, yada, yada. But he's bringing in players that he's familiar with. And these players that he's bringing are very good. Maybe they're in their later stages of their careers, but I think it might end up doing them good.
Yeah.
It might spark something in Everton's midfield.
I find just solely on getting James Rodriguez, I find the project of Gylfi Sigurdsson is done. I feel like they don't trust in him anymore to be that attacking midfield option. I find getting James is a way of telling Gylfi, listen, you lost your job, you'll come off the bench, and maybe this lights a fire under Gylfi Sigurdsson. So whenever he is called on to the team sheet, be a cup game or league, you might get the best out of Sigurdsson. And for Allen, beyond solid signing.
Yeah.
Like you're getting that solid midfielder that's going to win the balls, dish it out, rarely makes mistakes, very solid.
I'm happy you brought Sigurdsson up because when I first heard of the news that he got Allen and James, I right away thought 4-3-3 formation. But from what I understood now is that he's been actually playing a 4-4-2 for a really long time, or at least with Everton this entire time. Mm-hmm. So he might actually find a way to play all three of them at the same time, Allen, Rodriguez, and Sigurdsson. Which
would be even better than putting him on the bench.
If he could because I think he's looking at either playing James as an attacking midfield, or he might be playing him on the right as a right midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's where that's what I'm seeing what he's trying to do, I think.
Yeah. So basically, if with those two signings, it gives you options. And when it gives you options, you have more room to play formations that you're familiar with.
Yep.
So I think that he was playing a 4-4-2 because he didn't have the tools to play a 4-3-3.
Okay.
Now that he has the tools, he can do what he wants.
And Ancelotti is very familiar with James Rodriguez by coaching him in two previous teams with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. So let's see if he gets the best out of him now, because the past couple of years, James hasn't really been a starter, hasn't really been living up to his potential. So we're not going to obviously it's a smaller team than Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Yeah. So hopefully this reignites his stardom. Maybe he gets a little lift. If he tears it up, and no better person than Ancelotti to do it, since he's familiar with the player.
It's a good move for him on a personal level because he's finally going to be playing football on a regular basis, and he's going to be playing in a very competitive league.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, it's a turnaround for his career. I'd love to see him because he is a very good player.
Yep.
Everton are looking to crack the top 6. I mean, do they have the depth? They might.
They could do it though.
And Ancelotti's actually not finished in the transfer market. He's looking at Doucouré.
Yes, from Watford.
From Watford. So once
just imagine those three in the midfield.
It's amazing.
Which is why I didn't have Sigurdsson as a starter, because I was going to mention Doucouré, like Alex just said. If they do get Doucouré, then it's pretty much telling Gylfi you're out of the picture for now. But if they don't, like Alex said, put them 3 up there.
And that's why I liked what George said before about the formation thing, is that maybe, like you said, they couldn't play a 4-3-3 before.
Because a 4-4-2 is more conservative. Whereas
now they have that option to go.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Arsenal secures second loan for Real Madrid's Dani Ceballos. So Mikel Arteta finally got his guy back, his creative midfielder. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy for him. I'm happy that he was able to secure him, because I feel like if he didn't get Ceballos back, he'd be lacking that creativity from his squad.
Big time.
So what do you think about the loan move?
So just to kind of recap what's going on with Arsenal, within 28 days, they won 2 titles, the FA Cup and the Community Shield, which is a fantastic achievement for Mikel Arteta and for Arsenal, considering that they've been struggling. So now you start to slowly see that the project that Arteta has is starting to roll. They're starting to play football, and they're starting to believe in the abilities that they have. I know Arteta, he's a big fan of Ceballos because for him, like you said, it's the creative player, and it's probably going to be the X factor this season for them.
Yeah. I can't stand Arsenal. Everyone knows it because I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm actually really happy with what Arteta is doing to the team. They're going in the right direction. Finally, it took them many years, and now I'm happy that they secured Ceballos because he is a talented player. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy Arteta's getting the backing that he needs. Very solid move.
He did also sign the center back Gabriel Magalhaes, which was a huge signing for them. They also did get Willian from Chelsea. So they're starting to shape up a little.
Yeah, and he's testing a couple of things in preseason right now. So we'll see if they're ready for the first week back.
Oh, yeah.
But they should be. I don't see it. Aubameyang is just tearing.
No, this guy's just on another level.
He's on another level right now.
He still has to negotiate contracts.
Yeah.
It's just taking a bit of time for whatever reason, but they're trying to get the best deal.
If I'm Arsenal, I put an empty check and be like, Aubameyang, what do you want?
But see, here's the thing now. They did the same thing with Mesut Ozil, and now look what happened to him. So Arsenal have to be very careful because Aubameyang is a high prolific striker.
Yeah.
He's been proven in many leagues. You know, they have to be careful, and they got to see.
No, but the thing is, like with Aubameyang, you see his career stat-wise has just been going like this. You don't see waves. You don't see it going down. So I find comparing Aubameyang and Ozil signings, like whatever you want to pay, I find Aubameyang's the safer decision. So if I'm them, I'm doing everything I can to keep him because let's say they don't come to agreement, which I don't see how because Aubameyang loves the team. He just won 2 cups. There's no reason for him to leave. But I'm saying if by any chance he does leave, it puts a massive hole in Arsenal, and they do not want that.
Arteta already came out and said that they're going to come to an agreement no matter what.
That's exactly
so
it.
It's like they are going to pay Aubameyang. It's just a matter of finding that agreement, but it's going to happen.
And
100%.
And mentioning Willian going to Arsenal is probably going to light a fire in Nicolas Pepe because they're not record signed, but their high transfer that they got from last season, he hasn't been living up to his potential.
I think it is their record signing.
I'm sure it is.
That's why I don't want to mention because I don't know for a fact, but probably record signing. I find that's going to light a fire up his ass because I find he didn't have that competition. He's like, I'm secure on this side. Yeah. If I slip up, I'm still going to play every game. Hopefully Willian brings that competition. And hopefully for Arsenal's sake, they get the best out of him. So I'm happy they got Willian.
Just real quick on Willian, because he did play for Chelsea for many years. He did come out with a statement saying that had he known that Thiago Silva was coming to Chelsea, he would have stayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's Paisan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
and he would have signed the 2-year deal that they offered him because he wanted 3 and he wanted a bit more money.
Exactly.
And then he said, okay, well, I'm going to stay in London. And he decided to go to Arsenal. So now when I hear that, I was just like, okay. But you know what? I've said it before on the podcast, a great servant to the club. Time to move on. And we have fresh young blood. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you have enough options. Don't worry, you guys are good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to end this segment off with giving our season preview in a sense of who we think is going to end top 6. I know it's a bit early to give a prediction like this, but I think it's important to kind of just give the fans something to think about. So George, we'll go ahead. We'll start with you.
Do you want me to start from 6 to 1 or from 1 to 6?
Start from 6 to 1, actually. That's a better idea. Go for
it. I'm about to drop a bomb on you guys. All right, so in 6th place, I think Manchester United are going to finish in 6th. Arsenal in 5th. Tottenham in 4th. Liverpool 3rd. Manchester City 2nd. And the champions of the 2020-2021 season, Chelsea Football Club.
I love it, man.
Yep.
I love the boldness.
Yep.
Tommy?
So if we're going from 6th to 1st, sticking with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so 6th, I'm also putting Man United. 5th, I'm putting Arsenal. 4th, I'm putting Tottenham. 3rd, Liverpool. 2nd, City. And I'm backing Chelsea for George.
Wow.
Because I really like their project.
Perfect.
What do you got?
We'll end with me. So 6th place I have Tottenham. 5th place I have Arsenal. 4th place I have Manchester United.
Okay.
3rd place I have Liverpool. 2nd place I have Chelsea. And I'm going back with my boys to be champions again.
City,
so Manchester City, first place. I think this is what I'm going to say for the City choice. If they get Koulibaly, then my choice is 100% secured and safe. I'll be happy with that. But if they don't, then there's things to worry about in the back 4. But if they can secure Koulibaly, I think I'll be very happy with my choice.
And that's the same thing with me. I would put Tottenham higher, but I'm still waiting to see what else we're gonna do because we still have only Harry Kane as the lone striker. So I find if we do get more attacking options, we're gonna have a better chance at competing for top 3. But as of right now, realistically, I know Mourinho's a great coach, but we're going to crack Champions League.
I think one thing we should talk about before we end the segment is that we all put Liverpool third.
Yeah.
And George, I want to start with you. Your choice on that?
Okay, so as of recent, I know it's preseason. I know it doesn't really matter. But as of recent, they've been sort of struggling. And to compete with City and now the rest of the teams too, because the rest of the teams are starting to stack up and catch up. I don't think Liverpool are going to be champions again. They will compete for it. They will contend, but I think they're just going to come short from City. For Chelsea, I'm just supporting my club. I really believe in the project that Frank Lampard is bringing to Chelsea, and I really think they could do it. And if they can do it, this would be probably one of the best probably one of the best Premier League wins in the history of the club.
And same thing, I'm gonna say what George said for Liverpool. Their form has been off, since the COVID season restarted, and I find that other teams, other coaches, especially top ones like Pep, Lampard, Mourinho, everyone knows their style now. Everyone knows how they play. Everyone knows what their tactics are. I find other teams are gonna know it, defend better, and I don't see Liverpool being as dominant as last season.
Okay, and
what about you?
For me, it was more just I'm not getting the same dominant vibe as I got from them last season.
I think, sorry to cut you off, but I really think not having the fans in the stands really plays an effect on Liverpool, because playing home, remember they went 50 games unbeaten?
It was a big thing.
It was a huge
at
thing.
Anfield,
And I think Anfield is the 12th player on that pitch, and they play a huge factor for that club.
That's a very good point. I wasn't even going that route, but hearing you say that,
I just had to shoot that out.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I'm just not getting that dominant vibe from them
at all.
I could be very wrong, and they could come out swinging because they do have the same team, more or less.
Yeah.
They might lose Jorginho Wijnaldum. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
Gini Wijnaldum, yeah.
But even if he were to leave and they somehow get Thiago, I think it'll be a fine replacement.
Yeah.
Just real quick, why do we not fancy Manchester United?
because I find it was just a hype train. I find just everything was... I don't see Martial doing anything close to what he did last season. I want to back Greenwood, but I want to see what he does second season. I find basing it all on one season, he's just going to be that mega star, keep going.
So speaking of actually Manchester United, they just made a pretty big signing, I would say, for Donny van de Beek. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because the only reason I put them fourth, and I think you guys both put them sixth. Is that what happened? Yeah. So you guys both put them sixth. So I think you guys would need to kind of explain your reasoning for that. For me, I still think they're going to crack the top four with a midfield trio of Bruno, Pogba, and Danny. I really think they're going to terrorize some teams, man. I really believe so, but I just don't think they'll have enough support in the depth to get that top three status. But I'll come back to you.
So for me, it sounds ridiculous, but it's my reasoning is just pure hatred.
Okay, sure.
I don't fancy Manchester United. I've never liked Manchester United. I respect them, though. I respect who they are. I respect the team that they are in England. I respect the trophies, but I don't respect the fans. Because some of the stuff I hear on social media is absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Right? And I don't even want to get into it because we can be fucking sitting here all day, and we don't have that time.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I think Ole's gonna have a problem, he's gonna have a similar problem with Lampard, is to picking your midfield, because now you have Donny van de Beek, who's a fantastic player. I'm not sure if he plays a number 6, a number 10. I'm not too familiar, but he's gonna have a trouble picking out his starting midfielders, just like Lampard.
Yeah. So as I was explaining, Alex, that their form was just a hype. Since the restart, I find Martial is not gonna do anything remotely close to what he did last season. I find Greenwood's numbers are going to diminish. And I know Van de Beek is a solid player, but I find Man U got very lucky securing 3 points and securing points solely off of winning penalty shots. I find next season they're not going to get as many, and
It might bite them in the ass, you're
and
saying.
it might bite him ass because look how many times they secured the 3 points, the wins. Was a 90th minute penalty shot, 85th minute, and you have Bruno come with his little stupid fairy hop,
Like
and you know he's gonna score. And I find just Bruno Fernandes was stacking his stats just off of penalty shots. If you see the majority of his goals, more than half has been penalty shots.
But that's not to take away anything from him. He's a fantastic player, and it's a wonderful signing that United made, and they made it at the right time last year in January. So,
and I find their defense is not as strong to go 38 games against teams that have been revamping the team, like Chelsea, Man City, everyone just getting new signings.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to back up De Gea. I find he's going to have a mediocre season, if not worse.
Speaking of that, we are getting a little carried away, but Dean Henderson is back on loan from Sheffield, and he did sign an extension with Manchester United. So I really think you're going to see the days of De Gea between the posts slowly diminish. And I think Dean Henderson is on his way to be number one at United.
Yeah. He's made it very clear that he wants to fight for that number one spot.
For sure.
The second I had seen that he renewed his contract, that was telling me that he's kind of setting a shot at De Gea. And De Gea is kind of seeing that, and he's like, okay, I need to bring out my best self again, or else I'm really going to lose it to this guy. So we might even see a rejuvenated De Gea this season. You don't know.
Or I find it's just going to create drama in the locker room. I find games that De Gea is not going to get chosen. There's going to be turmoil in the locker room. I find having this competition with De Gea being a fan favorite and being the starter for how many years now, and how big he is as one of the top goalies in the world, and as he's been for previous years. I don't find this competition that well for him.
I think when it's two goalkeepers like that, I think what Ole's going to start with is he's going to do De Gea for the league games, and he's going to do Dean for all the cup games. And we've seen a lot of coaches do that before. But like Tommy said, if De Gea for some reason can hack it, like he wasn't able to for some reason last season, they're going to throw Dean in, and that's where it's going to kind of change a bit.
Oh, for sure.
I find he's just going to be like, because Manchester United is being put as a god goalkeeper, like the greatest thing ever to happen on planet Earth. I find him being sat on the bench to be like, oh, Dean Henderson's going to come in and take my spot. I don't think it's going to go well.
And also another thing too, for however long De Gea is in Manchester United, he's never had really competition for that starting position. So now I think is the time where you're going to see Dean Henderson maybe start over De Gea. And De Gea is getting older too. Granted, okay, keepers can play until they're 42. Okay, look at Gigi, but if United want to be at the top level, they got to start making these changes real quick.
Agreed. Perfect. So I think that covers everything for this week. Don't forget, guys, this was our preseason preview because the actual season starts this weekend, September 12th.
Oh, can't fucking
so
wait.
we can't wait for that.
Wait.
Super excited. So thank you guys for listening to this segment, and please make sure to check out the other segments we have released. Thanks, guys. What is going on, guys? And welcome to the 5-1 Formation podcast. Joining me are Anthony Paradiso and Antonio Canales for this segment. This will be the La Liga segment, and my name is Alex Karabatsis. I'll be your host for this segment. So the Messi-Barca saga has finally come to an end. Messi decides to finally stay. Messi partnered with Goal to release a full interview online about what happened. And essentially he was saying how Bartomeu's management was just horrible throughout the entire process, and that the $700 million release clause was not valid. Correct?
Yeah.
So basically that's what happened. And after weeks of speculation, of rumors of what he might do, he might go to City, he might go to Inter. He finally came out himself, really went through a lengthy interview of about 20 minutes explaining what his family went through, what he was going through at the time. So, but it's finally over, and he's finally going to stay. And my first question basically to you guys is, how do you feel about the board keeping Messi hostage? And I'll start with you, Anthony.
It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. By the way, what's up, guys? And new season, we keep going. Honestly, it's actually really pathetic on Barca's part to treat a man who has given so much for this club. Heart, sweat, blood, tears, everything, bro. Since he came into the youth academy at 13 years old. He's been with the club for almost 2 decades now. It's fucking sad, man, the way he was treated. He's brought them so much success, silverware, leadership. From a business perspective, he's brought fucking so much revenue. Jersey sales, ticket sales.
You name it.
And you name it, man. Banners, keychains, bumper stickers, fucking everything. It's really frustrating to see. In regards to the contractual obligations that I believe June 10th was the deadline, if I'm correct.
Yep.
I agree with Messi and his father saying that because everything halted due to COVID-19, basically the contract should have been pushed as well as the season, since the season technically ended in August, right? So I believe that deadline should have been extended as well, but it is a contract, so I understand it's black and white, so be it. From a business perspective, it's really poor business all around because Barca is potentially at risk of losing Messi, their generational pride and jewel, for free next year. Not to mention, who knows what his morale is at right now. Not saying that he's not going to be Messi. He's definitely going to put up numbers and lead the way. But from a business perspective, you still don't want to take that risk at the same time. So it's poor all around. Just sell the guy, reduce the buyout clause, get 120 plus mil for him, and end your relationship on a positive note. I don't know what you guys think at the same time.
I'm just going to come in on that by saying that Messi sent officially a fax saying that he wanted to leave. And like you're saying, the club should sell him for this X amount of money. They should lower the release clause. But there were so many statements from so many different clubs, such as Inter, the president saying, like, I don't know where these rumors came from, but I never once came in contact with Messi, nor was I planning on making a bid for him. Then you had PSG saying we're staying far away from him. His wage demands are too high, and they didn't want to even go close to paying any sort of release clause, whether it be 100, 200 million. And then the most promising thing was Manchester City. So Manchester City offered him supposedly a 5-year deal, it being 3 years in the EPL and then another 2 in New York City in the MLS. So those personal terms were agreed on between Messi and Manchester City. But they also came out and said, like, we're only taking Messi if he comes for free. So I'm going to have to go against you on that statement by saying that the board needs to sell him right away and all that. No teams want to pay that fee right now, especially not in COVID. And the 3 teams that were rumored to go after him blatantly said we're not paying any sort of fee. If he wants to come for free, if the club lets him go, for sure, then we'll start offering him some contracts. But apparently there were not one official bid was made on him. So yeah, like I said, once again, I'm going to have to go a bit against you on that forefront. But in terms of how the board has treated Messi, 100%. The Bartomeu, we see time in and time out how classless he is, him and the rest of his board. And it's just unfair to Messi. But I will say this to defend the board, even though I really don't fucking want to, is that financially, if you let him go this year, you have to let him go for free. And no one in the right mind is going to let Messi go for free.
Exactly.
You're losing all kinds of publicity, all kinds of jersey sales. People are going to stop subscribing to you. You're going to lose all kinds of fans, the bandwagoners that I was referring to in our intro episode. But financially, not a good idea for the board. So I understand where they're coming from, holding strong by saying that, listen, in your contract there was a deadline, June 10th, and now for you to leave for free. And now, like, whoever wants you has to pay 700 mil. That's it, that's all. So I understand them on that point. Because, like, if you're going to lose him next year or this year, it's going to be for free, right? So might as well try to keep him for one more year. try to convince him to stay no matter which way. Even though in his quotes, Messi in the interview, he said that there's no winning project in the foresight of the club. That's why he was super turned off and wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But honestly, the only way you're going to keep him is the Champions League. I think that's the only way. Maybe I'll even say the triple. So it's for now he's staying with the club because he decided to be the bigger man and not go after them in the courts, because he said himself he loves the club too much and he didn't want to put his family through all this nonsense. Yeah. So he's gonna withstand them for one more year minimum. And we'll see what happens this season and if he decides to stay next year.
I think Koeman needs to really sell him on something and really provide the reinforcements for him to succeed at Barcelona, at least this season coming up, because this is like a do or die season in a sense. Because if it doesn't happen this season, we are going to see Messi, unfortunately, leave next season for free. But
I don't think, sorry to cut you off, I don't think there's anything that's going to keep him with Barcelona besides that Champions League. Like not even a board change, a presidential change, re-election, nothing.
Okay. He's ready to move on,
You guys think like mentally he's just completely gone?
If you guys haven't seen the interview, they've released it now.
No, I watched it,
with subtitles. No, I'm saying just for our listeners, go look at it and judge for yourselves. The guy, for me, had tears in his eyes and he was just distraught.
Yeah.
He's heartbroken.
Yeah.
Heartbroken is
that's why, like, from a business perspective, to add on to what I was saying before, to re-emphasize, you're still going to bring it, but you still have to ask that question, like how is it going to be in the locker room? You know what I mean? What's the morale going to be in the locker room, despite Koeman's guidance and his whatever vision he wants to bring, and the new players that he wants to bring in as well? It's concerning, but I still have faith in the team to still bring it to Real Madrid this season.
I think Messi is going to stay professional through this all. He's going to score the goals that he usually score. He's going to provide the assists that he usually provides. And in the locker room, he's just going to stay an utter professional. Everything that he has against the board, I don't think he's going to bring it emotionally to the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I agree.
And there's all kinds of players that back him because he's clearly not the only one who thinks this way about the board. There's at least 50% of the squad that absolutely despises the board and doesn't stand for what they are.
It shows how humble he is as a person, as a player, right? So
exactly.
To still not be a hard-headed, to not be a petty, and want to be the he's like, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man than these peasants.
Yeah, and he said straight up, I'm not going to the courts. I don't want to put Barca's name in the mud.
It's already hard for his family as well because his kids were scared about making new friends, going to a different city and all that. So
attending new schools.
It just shows how big of a man he is, honestly.
Family man.
Yeah. And I think it's also fair to say that the way they treated Luis Suarez and his situation, I think that played a part into why he was so upset with them, because he's his best friend. So I think that it makes a lot of sense as to why he was just so down and defeated about the entire thing. And look, he's staying now, so let's see what happens, and hopefully Koeman can get it right, and they can give him a Champions League, just so that in case he does leave next year, they leave on a high note with him.
Exactly.
Instead of this in the back of your head.
I think you hit the nail in the coffin on that one. It's better he leaves. If ultimately he's going to leave, it's better he leaves next year. We all digest this because for us, outside of the Barca bubble, it came to us as massive news. We didn't see this coming at all from Messi, even though in his interview he said he was feeling this way the whole season. Yeah. He was telling the president the whole season, listen, I'm out of here. As soon as the season is done, I'm out of here. And the president told him, no problem, you could do that. And then went back on his word and pulled out this whole contract nonsense, got La Liga involved, who backed up the board. So it's a massive, it's a big mess. Big mess in Barcelona right now.
Well, speaking of Barcelona, the staff, the squad, let's kind of get into that and to what Koeman's working with. So his coaching staff consists of Larsson, who managed in Sweden, and Schroeder, who was the Hoffenheim manager in 2020, and they finished in 6th place. And he also has, or actually, Schroeder was also the Ajax assistant in the Champions League run.
Yeah, that famous Champions League run where they beat Madrid and
Juventus.
Juventus.
Yeah.
Was it Madrid? Oh no, sorry, they lost to Madrid. Sorry, I'm mixing up my history over here.
No. I think they had beaten Madrid. They beat Juve and they lost to Tottenham.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're getting this guy in the coaching staff. Big news. I like the names Coleman brought with him. And yeah, honestly, I think Coleman really does feel at home. He doesn't have a great past track record with other clubs such as Everton, where he got sacked after whatever it was, 8-9 games. But here I just have a good feeling about it. He played with the squad before. He defended the crest. He calls Barcelona his home. He's bringing some renowned assistant managers alongside him. Larson was a massive club guy for 2 seasons with Barcelona. So I just have a good feeling about this. He plays the Barcelona way. He plays the 4-3-3 formation that we've been all craving for the past 2-3 seasons with Valverde and then Quique Setien. So I have a good feeling. I'm not going to say it's going to go right, especially right off the bat. I think the first couple of 3-4 weeks is going to be very rough for Barcelona, but I just have a good feeling about this.
Okay.
So, basically, when the Messi news came out, right before that, I think we mentioned it last season, that Barcelona were ready to sell everybody.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna get into the names that are out. So we already know about Arthur. He got sold to Juve for 80 million euros. Rakitic is the newest member off the squad. He went back to his home of Sevilla for 1.5 mil plus variables, another 9 mil or so, whatever. Carles Perez officially to Rome for 10 million euros. Cucurella, 21 years old. He was a left mid. He played fantastic with Getafe. They officially sold him to Getafe for 11 mil. I really hope there's a buyback clause over there because this kid is insane. And Turan, who the fuck even knew he was still on the squad?
For real, bro. I completely forgot about him, man.
Turan is apparently out of jail and playing for Galatasaray because you guys know he was in jail for a couple
remember
months.
You had said it. I think
Really?
it was even on the podcast. He had said like
for
months
holding
ago.
a gun or possession of weapons or something.
Unreal, man. These players.
The rumors for the guys getting out of the club are evidently Rafinha, 27 years old. He's linked to Leeds United in the EPL for about $10 million American. Suarez, like you mentioned before, most probably going to Juventus. Did he already agree on personal terms, Ant?
Apparently he did.
He did.
Yeah, eh? So
We'll see what happens.
We saw a lot of verified sources that say that he did, so we're gonna say that he did.
So don't even be surprised if he leaves for a very low fee or for free. I wouldn't be surprised over there. Vidal as well, out the door. Apparently Inter agreed on terms with him. He was also linked to Juventus, so we'll see over there. And Umtiti, they really want to get rid of him, but he's currently injured, and trying to sell an injured player is almost impossible.
Yeah.
The players that we got in, because we did get a couple of guys, new faces. Some will say younger, some will say older. So Pjanic from Juventus for 70 million euros at 30 years old. Pedri from second division, Las Palmas, 17 years old, left winger, played great with Jonathan Vieira, who had insane stats a couple of seasons ago in the first division. So it's nice to see some younger faces, whether he stays on the first squad, goes to the B team, or gets loaned out. It's a good bid for the future. He had crazy stats last season with Las Palmas. Trincao, another youngster, 20 years old from Braga, played absolutely amazing. Winger, he was bought for 30 million euros. And then we have Mateus Fernandes from Brazil. And a big one coming back to the squad, Coutinho. That's one guy that I really wanted to talk about. And I'll let Alex take away the question.
Yeah, so he ended off that list with Coutinho because Coutinho is back from loan now after a very successful loan spell at Bayern Munich, ending with the treble. But my question for Coutinho is, should Barcelona start Coutinho? And I'm going to start with Anthony.
It's a very good question. I mean, at the moment, it's hard to comment considering who they're rumored to get still. So it's tough to say. As of right now, on paper, we saw that little glimpse of what he brought in the Champions League run that Bayern had. The guy can still bring it. The talent is definitely there. I think he's a bit too slow to play on the wing, where nowadays there's so much athleticism on the fullbacks, and the majority of the fullback positions now where it's like a principal attribute to have, where you need to be like super pacey and super athletic. So I think Coutinho might struggle there. I think he'll flourish as a cam or as a center mid, even number 8. I don't see any issues there. He has that elegance to him when he moves around with the ball and distribute it. So I think he would excel as a cam or as a CM.
100%. You don't put a guy like Coutinho on the wing. If you're gonna play him, it's behind the striker as an offensive midfielder. Totally agree with you on that point. What I do want to say is that maybe start him off the bat, probably not. I really like how Bayern Munich utilized him coming off the bench, giving fresh legs to the whole squad the last 30-20 minutes. So I would like to see that at first from Coutinho, give us a nice boost towards the end of the game, especially if we need it. And then if he's playing that good, maybe give him a shot and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know. For now, my clear starters in the midfield is De Jong 100%. He's maybe Coleman going to go with Busquets as well. We'll see. I don't know. And Pjanic, I don't know. We'll see. So let's get into the rumors because this one is a pretty big one for the midfield.
Go for it.
We're looking at Wijnaldum, 29 years old. He's reportedly going for 20 million euros. So I think Coleman really likes him. He clearly used him in the national squad with Netherlands. So I think if he gets him, he's going to end up utilizing him in the midfield. He's going to get a full start right away.
Full start, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was an integral part of Liverpool's recent success the last 2 years. Ballon d'Or nominee in that 23-man shortlist.
Yeah.
I mean, he also has to ask himself the question if he's okay with potentially being a rotational player. I mean, obviously Coleman is going to have that Dutch bias and probably going to start him because he can either him or Pjanic who's going to start. We don't know. Is Busquets going to start? We don't know what's going to go on. So if he's okay with that, by all means, it's a very affordable buy, and he's
for
still
20 million. Yeah,
he's in his prime year still. So 100%.
Yeah, he's 29. So I think if they were to get him, he has the experience to really command that midfield, and especially that left side, because I really can see Wijnaldum, Pjanic, and Frankie as a 3 mid. And I like that you brought up that maybe start Coutinho on the bench and then have him kind of show glimpses of his brilliance.
Yeah.
And if you guys can see that he's hacking that the tactics and he's getting comfortable with the squad again, give him a start.
Yeah, but for now, especially if we get Wijnaldum, I think it's going to be an automatic start from Coleman's eyes. But you never know. Listen, having all these midfielders isn't a big problem for Barcelona. So
it's always a good thing.
I'm not worried about the midfield at all.
At all.
I like the self-competition in there, everything. So another big rumor is Depay from Lyon. And he's rumored to go at only 25 to 30 million euros, which I was really surprised to hear. And if he's going for that price tag, give him to me.
Yeah.
No problem.
100%.
Even if he's only there to provide competition or to provide fresh legs off the bench, he's an amazing player. And he could maybe even get a start in the Barcelona squad this year. The only thing that worries me is Griezmann's salary and how much we paid for him and all that. So I really think you're going to see a lot of Messi and Griezmann up there. And maybe Dembele if he's healthy.
No,
I think those are the front 3 that Coleman's going to go for.
If
me personally.
Depay goes to Barca, I really believe he's going to start, and he's going to start on that left wing
Over Dembele or
think
Griezmann.
So. I think so.
I agree, bro. His run with Lyon ever since he left United has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like now he has something to prove because ever since his little tenure that he had in United where he got shat on because of his poor performances, he has that anger and intensity and aggression that he is being reflected on the pitch. And like just to give you a bit of a stat, from his recent seasons. His first season with Lyon was 19 goals, 13 assists.
Wow.
And has been producing almost a point a game ever since then. I mean, Liga is not as strong as the Liga, obviously, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's not going to succeed if he does go to any team that's other than Liga. He's a special player, so much talent, pacey, incredible dribbling, agile, clinical. He's a great free kick taker as well. Because overall he just demonstrates the perfect combo of technical elegance and physical power too, which is super rare to find nowadays. He's 26, like I mentioned before. And for that price, honestly, I don't know why fucking 100 teams are going after him, man.
I don't know if it's that price. I really believe I had seen something in the range of 45 to 55.
Maybe his price went lower because of the whole COVID thing.
It's possible. It's possible. We'll go with the next person on the list.
So another couple of rumors is evidently Eric Garcia from Manchester City, young center back. If we do get him, he would provide definitely some speed and some fresh legs in the center back position alongside Langlais. I'm not saying to kick PK out of the team, but this guy slowly needs to start going on the bench. Slowly. Yeah. And the last one, that's the rumors that I've been spewing on and off, is Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. Apparently Barcelona made a bid for him, 65 million euros plus a player, which was most probably Vidal. So we'll see if they accept it. I'm not very optimistic, nor do I really want him if we're going for Depay. And we have Griezmann, Dembele, Messi who's staying. So honestly, I think we could save our money and get our most bang for our buck with Depay, who's, for me, pretty similar player to Lautaro.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why this rumor came up again is beyond me, especially if we're going after Depay, but we'll see. All I have to say is that if we do end up getting Depay, I highly doubt we're going to go after Lautaro.
I personally highly doubt they're going to let him go, to be honest with you.
That's another thing. Like, they're super attached to him. And that combo that he has with
Lukaku is incredible, the way they're interchanging. And, like, I'm guessing he's a fan of the project that they have now and the direction that they're going in. I think he wants to be a part of it, so I don't see... they want something to prove. Last year, they finished a point behind Juve. They lost in the final against Sevilla, so I think he wants to shut down the critics. You know?
And don't forget, if Lautaro were to leave now to go to Barca, especially with the season looming for Serie A, it would be tough for Inter to find that direct replacement right away. So I really don't see him leaving, and I don't even think he would do that to Inter, to be honest with you. I really believe that he's going to stay this one more season, and then maybe next season he'll look elsewhere if he has to.
Yeah, 100%.
So we're going to move on to another juggernaut team in La Liga. So Real Madrid keeping the same team. So Bale, who's 31, who gets paid $20.5 million a year, and Isco, who's 28, $6.5 million a year, not being sold. So I wanted to know, what do you guys think of this in terms of providing that everything is going on in Barcelona? Can they bring the fight to Zidane's Madrid team for the title, basically?
I think they can. Like I was saying before, despite everything that's going on in Barcelona, the shambles that they're in, the talent is still there in that squad list. Yes, Zidane's side, they're making very little changes. They all recognize Zidane's system. They're all part of his tactics, so they know how he runs the team. So it's going to be very difficult because now Koeman's in, new tactics, new system, new personality in the locker room. So it's going to be tough, but the players that they have, there's no doubt that they shouldn't put up a fight.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's going to be tough for Barcelona, especially the situation that they're in right now, especially that Ter Stegen's going to be injured for the first 4 to 8 weeks of the season.
I actually forgot about that.
It's going to be tough for Barcelona to grab the title back from Madrid. And yes, I will say that Real Madrid are most likely for me to get the title, especially with Zidane there. And the glue, the lock he has on all of his players, the whole squad, how they understand his tactics, everything. It's going to be very tough to beat Real Madrid this season.
Well said, because I was kind of thinking the same thing from Real Madrid's team. I really believe that They're actually going to win the title again this year. I think Barca's kind of going through too much of a change right now. That's kind of gonna like hit them where it hurts a bit. Earlier in the season, and like you said,
but that's what I'm saying. I think we're gonna Barcelona is gonna get to that level, just not as fast as we think. And Real Madrid is already there, right? So forget it. It's gonna be a tough task ahead of us.
Go for it.
Just
Barcelona.
Just to add on to your point about Ter Stegen. I mean, yes, he doesn't compare to him. Ter Stegen is a fucking magician in nets, but Neto is really solid.
Absolutely.
He's going to cover his ground.
We might even see something similar to last year when Liverpool lost Alisson at the beginning of the season.
That's a fair point.
And what's his name? Adrian came in, and he kind of took over and actually collected all of those points that we thought they were going to drop. So we might see something similar with Neto and Ter Stegen situation.
Just bringing it back to Madrid and the point you said about Bale and Isco still on the team. I'm really surprised about that. Honestly, it's such a dent to their salary cap. How much they're paying these players. 27 mil total euros per year for both of them. And Bale even said that he came on in an interview recently and said that, listen, I had deals with Chinese club, with Premier League clubs. Like, I wanted to go. I want to play some football, but for some reason, Madrid kept him on the squad. They canceled those all those deals that were accepted by the player himself. I just don't understand where Madrid's board are coming from, and I don't know. Yeah. Especially Isco, 28, he still has some years ahead of him, even though he's looking more and more like a potato.
Yeah,
he could still play.
He could definitely still play.
Just the physical needs to change a lot.
Yeah. It's just annoying that they're keeping Bale hostage like that because he's another remarkable talent that we will love to see play more often.
But for me, financially, it just doesn't make sense at all.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, what? Yeah, honestly, there's a certain level of pettiness that you need to like just fucking put it aside, bro, and sell the guy. Bygones be bygones. Whatever he told you guys, whatever he posted that one time of Wales or golf and Real Madrid, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, in that order.
Fine, bro. It was childish. It was immature. He disrespected you guys. But, bro, sell the guy and let him be.
I agree.
At this point, they're just poking fun at each other, and it's just not 100% fun for either.
And that's why, I've said to you guys 1,000 times, every time I hear Bale's name in the news, it's always something stupid that comes up, whether it's a stupid comment or he's completely uninterested on the sidelines, on the bench, whether he's on the bench or not, or on the reserves. It's just upsetting to see, like Anthony said, he's 31 years old. In top flight football, he might have another 2-3 years left at best. Don't forget, he hasn't played a lot. And even Ryan Giggs, who's the coach of Wales, took him off at the 45th minute. And he said the reason was because that he doesn't have enough top flight minutes.
There you go.
So that's exactly what's going to happen to him. If he does not play in the top, if he does not get top flight minutes, he will lose a lot of minutes for the Wales national team.
For sure. Before we leave Real Madrid and move on to our next topic, expect, for me personally, I'm going to say this out loud right now, expect Hazard to have a crazy bounce back season, and expect him to get in the top 5 goal scorers list this year.
Okay.
I see it happening.
Honestly, the minimum personal goal for him is to get 20 points. So double digits in both.
Whether that's goals or assists, it's 20 points in total. I agree with that.
For me to say he had a great bounce back season, 30 points. So let's say 15 goals, 15 assists, 10 goals, 20 assists.
He's capable of hitting.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
But honestly, because his season last year was so terrible and he was pissed off with his own performance, I just say watch out.
Perfect. And as this is kind of like a preseason preview of La Liga, we're kind of going to go around the table here and give our top 6 predictions of how we think they might end the season. So, Anthony, I'm going to start with you, and then we're going to go to Antonio.
Top 6, I'll start from 6 upwards. I agree, Real Sociedad will be number 6. David Silva arriving to that team is fantastic. So, kudos to them. They're going to definitely put up a fight. In the top 2, I'll put Real Madrid number 1, Barca number 2. The next three positions after that, third, fourth, and fifth, is going to be a hell of a fight between those three teams, between Sevilla, Villarreal, and Atletico Madrid. Especially because Villarreal has made some nice purchases, replacing Santi Cazorla with Parejo. So Sevilla, I think they're gonna finish fourth. They have a solid team. They got Rakitic now too as well. So I think fourth is theirs this year. Fifth and sixth, dude, I have no idea between the two. Atletico Madrid look like they're not making any changes at all. I don't know what the hell they're doing right now. So I think I'll choose Villarreal over them.
Yeah, I have the same exact thing. So Sociedad in sixth, Atletico Madrid, they're going to be in Europa League for 2022 or whatever, 2021.
Yeah.
Villarreal, Sevilla to make the Champions League spots alongside Barcelona in second and Real Madrid. Barcelona second for the reasons I mentioned before.
Yep.
They're going to have a tough time at the beginning. Real Madrid first because Zidane, man. Just Zidane. And Sevilla has a squad and a half. We saw them with the Europa League win. If they make top three, I'll be very happy. Villarreal fourth, I think, with the additions to their squad, including Kubo from loan spell from Real Madrid, youngster winger. They have a top-notch squad. So that concludes it for me, man.
Perfect. I'm going to say Real Madrid first place, Barca second, Sevilla third. Sevilla third, I'm going to say if they can somehow get Reguilon back, because apparently they've requested him on a permanent deal this time to Sevilla, or at least a second loan. And hopefully if they get him back, I really believe that they're going to finish in that third spot. Villarreal, fourth place. Unai Emery, he's a proven coach in Spain. With new additions to the squad, like we said, Parejo and Coquelin. They're also looking at Jose Callejon. Yeah. And if they get him, they have a nice squad to work with, and I really think they can crack the top four. I put Atletico fifth. Like Anthony said, there's not much that I'm seeing from that team right now that's convincing me that they're going to make top four. So I'm kind of having them a bit lower than usual. And Sociedad at sixth place. They're going to fight, like Anthony said, for those spots. With the addition of David Silva, he's going to be a nice replacement for Martin Odegaard, who ended up going back to Real Madrid.
Yeah. And
I feel like they're not going to lose much with him there. So I think they're gonna fight for that top six spot for sure.
Perfect, man.
And I think that concludes our La Liga segment for this week. Thanks, guys, for listening, and don't forget to check out our other segments that we have out.
Thank you very much, guys.
Ciao, guys.